Hello. I'm so pleased to be able to speak to everyone today and share some stories and experience from my perspective. Uh, I'm Randy, and I'm the head of design at Grab, Southeast Asia's leading super app. And I lead a team of designers, researchers, writers, and other creative practitioners and engineers who work on creating the experiences in our super app that we deliver to all sorts of customers every day. Those customers range from general consumers who might use our products to take a ride from point A to point B, order food, groceries, top up their digital wallet, make investments, buy insurance, use telemedicine services in Indonesia, or any number of other products and services that we offer in our growing super app ecosystem. And what I want to share with you today is really about how important it is for us as a business and us as designers creating the super app to learn from the ground truths of our customers, how we do that, and not only how we learn, but how we apply those learnings to building products and designing things for other people. Because if we want to make the human experience central to the work that we do, we need to understand that experience, the unique and particular experiences of the customers and customer groups that we're creating things for. We need to talk to them, we need to listen to them and observe them, and then use what we learn to shape our decisions. So let's dive right in. I want to take you back to when I joined Grab, January 2019. Or January 2019. And right away, I was sent to Jakarta to go on an immersion. And these immersion sessions were something that was being organized by the research team at the time, which is a team inside the design team at Grab. And they took about 20 Grabbers, that's what we call our colleagues at Grab, to follow one of our driver delivery partners for their entire day of work. And so for about 13 or 14 hours, I rode on the back of a motorbike, following the entire route, all the jobs, all the challenges, all the breaks, all the sort of community relationships that our particular driver partner had. But I did this along with, 15 to 20 other Grabbers. And what's important about this experience, beyond the general empathy and trying to sort of observe the lived experience of one of your customers, is that these sessions and these immersion experiences were designed by the research team with some particular attributes. One, they used some basic observational research methodologies that we were taught in a lightweight way at the briefings, before this immersion. And what that does, in addition to gain insights from customers, is it helps employees and colleagues empathize with the research process, understand some of the methodologies, understand how difficult it is actually by doing some of it themselves. They also learn the vocabulary and think about how to talk about what they observe and see and how they might apply those learnings. It's a really, really beautiful experience. Very long and busy days, but something, and one of the most special experiences, I would say, of joining an organization like Grab that just cares so much about its customers is an experience like this. And so these immersions would conclude with a set of reflection sessions where a number of the observations and questions that had come up would be discussed among colleagues. And we'd even have the opportunity to interview the customer later about what we observed, asking clarifying questions, trying to understand how they were thinking or feeling during the times we were observing their work. And from that first immersion, it was just so compelled and convinced that this was a powerful way to both empathize with customers, but also get specific product and user insights. When you see someone using your product this frequently, at this sort of depth and resolution, but also in the context that they really use the product, interesting things emerge. And ideas, suggestions, concepts that came out of those sessions feed right into the work that we do to build products for customers. And so that was one session for one small group of people at one moment in time. But these sessions had gotten such positive feedback from the participants, and were really inspiring and motivating, that we essentially productized them or operationalized them inside our organization. And so we started running regular immersions with much larger groups of people across various cities throughout the 8 countries in Southeast Asia where we serve customers, getting a regular cadence of team members going on the ground, meeting and listening to customers, having a chance to interact with them, and having a chance to see the products and services that we build and run in use in the real environment. Really, really beautiful. And all those same extra benefits were just repeated over and over again. Those benefits of understanding the research methodologies and building a vocabulary around research and customer understanding. We also started to build a mini version of these immersions into our employee onboarding, so that as new employees would start, within their first week, they would have an opportunity to experience what it was like to be one of our delivery partner customers or merchants by going on the ground and spending time with them. That might mean delivering food themselves or being in a food and beverage merchant. Another really important sort of cultural experience, because it meant that within the first few days of someone joining the organization, not only were they hearing that we cared about our customers, but they were able to feel how we cared about our customers and to gain some empathy themselves right away. Just a super, super critical practice when we think about learning from ground truths of our customers. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you sharing this example from pre-pandemic, Randy? We can't travel so easily. We can't go on the ground with large groups of people. Great question. And this posed a huge challenge for us. We had such momentum and enthusiasm internally, and we're really loving this particular program that allowed us to sort of kickstart and ingrain very human-centric methods into our culture. And then it was suddenly put on pause. And this was really, really challenging for the team. Of course, in addition to these immersions, and we were doing other kinds of research methods and sessions, observational research and interviews, user studies, surveys, both online and in person, sort of remote and in research labs or out in the field. And so there was a lot of work that needed to pause or change or adapt. But there was other things like the remote research we'd been doing where we were able to emphasize and sort of focus and build on it. We immediately started piloting some other distributed research tools, trying some other methods. And as lockdown in Singapore in particular would sort of open and close, we would take advantage of the opportunity when we could for very small groups and gatherings so that we could get back on the ground with our customers as soon as we can. Of course, these things are easier to do when the product is something that you use every day, or that you as the person seeking these research and insights are close to that experience. Now, of course, that means you might also bring biases with you as you develop those insights and observe. but the logistics and practicalities of getting on the ground and using a product in its real context is easier if the customer's context of that product is similar to your day-to-day context. So, as an example, it would be far easier to get on the ground customer understanding around a product that maybe gives you directions around town, like a maps product. We can all relate to that. It's easier to understand and access than, say, a product that was designed to help pilots while in flight. Right? Much more challenging context, logistically difficult. So you can see my point. But the methods underneath are applicable in many scenarios. And what we learned is that some of our remote and distributed methodologies could be emphasized more. This allowed us to reach broader audiences or even interact with customers in geographies, maybe cities across the region that we had not interacted with quite as much before. So maybe a blessing in disguise. But the really important thing I want to emphasize here in the last few minutes is the experience of being on the ground with customers and applying research methodologies gets you a lot of information. But what you do with that information is where the real impact comes from. And we've gone on an important journey at Grab ourselves to a place that myself and the team are really proud of. And so I want to share that with you to connect these dots, and something that I think you can think about applying in your own practices. What I'll say is there's really two things. One is, when we collect this information, we want it to be really well-rounded information. So when we come at research from a design process-centric place, it is often qualitative research. But there's many other kinds of data and information that can be very helpful in forming well-rounded insights and ground truths that you can build upon to better serve your customers. So there are, you might do things like listen to social media. Right? You have a social listening program, maybe some automated tools that help you do that, so you understand how people are talking about your product when they're not using it. Great source of understanding complaints, but also when things go great. Customer support, both understanding the kinds of inquiries that might come in through, chat or email support or telephone support, but also speaking with customer support representatives who directly interact with customers all the time. Frontline service employees who interact with your customers or users are a great source of insights. They feel the pain and understand the experiences that a user may have just through a very different lens, and it's part of their day-to-day work. Really valuable source of great information. Then there's also things like market research, both in its kind of formal capacity, but also, our colleagues and team members, operations team members, and otherwise who are on the ground interacting with customers, similar to our support team, but these could be everyone from sales and marketing, country teams, people who live and work in the cities and places where we're serving the customers. They're a wonderful, wonderful source of information. And so we built out a program that synthesizes across all these various sources of information. It's what we call open spaces. And it takes data analytics, sort of product analytics, social listening, customer support, market research, all of our qualitative observational research about customers, and triangulates them into a point of view of what are the greatest needs and opportunities in our customers' lives. We try to keep it at 10, or a consumable amount of information. And we have socialized these insights over time It's taken a while. It's a progress as we move this understanding throughout the organization, but now to the place where these groups of insights about various customer needs and problems across all of our products and services are used in what I like to call pre-roadmap thinking. So they're circulated and understood by our colleagues and team members before we commit to doing particular work or projects. So not only does this customer understanding help us understand how well we are doing the thing we're doing, is it usable, do people like it, etc., it also helps us decide what to do, what to prioritize, where do we believe the biggest opportunities are from a customer understanding standpoint. Really, really important when your ambition is to serve your customers well. So I'll leave you with that. Getting on the ground with customers, making a systematic program out of it, and then taking what you learn from that program, bringing it together with other sources of information, and putting it in your business planning and thinking process early enough that those insights can help you decide what to do. This is how we design for humans, by learning from ground truths. I hope some of these highlights are something you can take with you, and I'm excited to chat more about them in our Q&A.